in that rematch. I think that's really big, man. If we do get that rematch on June the 21st, I believe that'll be big news. I believe that'll be big, man. So if we can get that fight, man, that would.
Tank Davis and Lamont Roach are locked in for a rematch that promises to be far more intense than their first encounter. The controversy from their initial fight has fueled an even greater rivalry, with both fighters now determined to leave no doubts in the ring. The fight is expected to take place on June 21st in Las Vegas. And based on the energy coming from both camps, this one won't be left the judges. Tank has even already made it clear, telling Roach that he doesn't get to see the final round. However, as Roach said, he's going to beat Tank again.
Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Spit fuck around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on, ref. You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right.
Roach hasn't been shy about his frustrations, especially regarding referee Willis. In his mind, Willis made multiple mistakes that influenced the outcome, from allowing Davis extra time to recover after taking a knee to turning a blind eye to what Roach claims were illegal actions. In the corner, the challenger believes he was unfairly denied a victory.
Right now, Roach Tank, Haney Garcia.
Roach Tank. I mean, first of all, Tank.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, first of all, Tank is just bigger than Haney and Ryan both. And recency bias, that just happened. Haney was last year. This just happened. More people, like Haney didn't get a song. Well, he did get a song. But that's what I'm saying. His song is dead or dying out. Tank's is popping. Like, it's Tank's time right now. Tank is in our mind more than Haney.
Hell no, he can't do the next fight Roach vented on. It is what it is. Look at how many times he messed a fight up, the knee him going to the corner to get assistance. He didn't outright accuse Davis of cheating, but insisted that his opponent benefited from questionable officiating. You can't do none of that. That's a disqualification. But
I definitely could have. That was on me too. That was on me for sure. Cause I ain't pick it up when I supposed to pick it up, and I could have definitely did more. He caught me with a good shot, but it was times that I sat in there with him and I'm like, damn, this guy like super slow. Well, not super slow, but he's slow.
Roach and his team went as far as filing a petition to the New York SAC, hoping to get the decision overturned. But the request was swiftly denied. With no other recourse, Roach shifted his focus towards securing an immediate rematch. And now that fight is nearly finalized, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm signed and sealed. Roach confirmed, making it clear that all that remains is for Davis to do the same.
Well, he got decent power. For sure. I ain't gonna say it's exaggerated. I told y'all I got a chin. I ain't going like that. It's just not gonna happen. But like I said, I see why he knocked people out, and I think he felt my power too. Like, I think that's what negated a lot of his shots. And once I took his best shot, I was like, oh yeah, it's time to work.
On the other side, Davis has been relatively quiet. Unlike Roach, he hasn't gone on media rants or pointed fingers. Instead, he's gone straight into training, shutting out distractions and preparing with a different kind of intensity. The whispers from his camp suggest that Davis has taken all the criticism to heart and is using it as motivation. He knows what people are saying. Calvin Ford said when asked about Tank, that's why he's not playing around this time. No distractions, no outside noise. He's coming to make a statement. Davis himself finally spoke up recently, making it clear that he has no intention of letting the fight go the distance. I ain't letting this one go to the judges, Davis said. This time I'm closing the show.
Everyone's mind, how close is the rematch? How big will it be? How close is it to getting done?
Very close. It's in my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities, but it's a done deal and it's not far off. I can't give you more than that right now, but what I can tell you is that it's going to be an interesting fight. I think you've got dynamics. You've got Gervonta, who's probably going to be angry, probably woken up, probably more focused than he has been, not talking about retirement. That's a factor.
The WBA has already signaled that the rematch will be mandated, meaning Davis either accepts the fight or risks losing his title. But even if the belt weren't on the line, Tank made it clear that he wouldn't hesitate. He's not interested in technicalities. He wants to leave no doubt the way he sees it. Roach is lucky the first fight even reached the final bell this time. He plans to finish the job. Roach, however, believes he has a key to victory. He saw the holes in Davis's approach, exploited them, early and force the champion into situations where
He was coming up a weight.
Right.
And coming up a weight, and you're fighting immediately the head of the class. And what you and Cannon have taught me about weight classes they are important. They are in place for a reason. So don't just sit here and just act like he was just like that. Now, he came out there and fought an amazing fight. He had an amazing game plan, and I immediately really want...
His movement, counter-punching, and ability to stay disciplined made the fight competitive, and in his mind it was enough to deserve the win outright. But Davis's power remained a factor, and Roach knows that avoiding it for 12 rounds isn't easy. Negotiations for the rematch have moved quickly, with both camps eager to run it back. Roach's promoter, Gary Jonas, confirmed that they are waiting for the final paperwork to be completed, but the fight is all but set with Las Vegas as a backdrop, and the controversy from the first fight, still fresh. The rematch is expected to be an even bigger spectacle.
Was not so cocky to be on a Terrence Crawford undercard. That would be dope. But I don't see Tank taking a backseat to no fighter, because he'll think it's the Tank show. So I don't know, but it should be a good...
Roach, meanwhile, is confident but cautious. He isn't underestimating Davis, but he also isn't backing down from belief that he has the ability to outbox him. In his eyes, the biggest obstacle wasn't Davis himself. It was the officiating. He's pushing for a neutral referee and a fair fight, convinced that under those conditions he'll prove himself as a better fighter. Davis, however, sees things very differently. To him, Roach was simply surviving, not winning. He felt he was never in serious danger, and that Roach did more avoiding than fighting. That's why he's taking a much more aggressive approach this time around. He's aiming for a knockout, and he isn't keeping a secret.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be great, he can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
He got to come to win 54.
He said I got a glass chin, so tell him to come and touch it.
Wow. This ain't going 12, Davis said. I'm ending this early, watch me. But in between all this got in Terrence Crawford to add more heat. Terrence Crawford has been throwing jabs at Tank Davis. But this time it's not in the ring, it's through the media. He has continuously said how they robbed Roach and that Tank was supposed to lose. And this time, he fired at him for something that he knows will sting harder. Crawford wants Tank to fight Shakur Stevenson on the undercard of his September 13th showdown against Canelo Alvarez. And just like that, he's making headlines again. But is this really about boxing? Or is Crawford just taking another shot at Tank?
It's either you or Keyshawn's gonna get Tank. So
Crawford knows exactly what he's doing by suggesting that Tank should be on his undercard. He's pushing the idea that Davis isn't the true face of boxing. He's making it seem like Tank needs to fight under him to get exposure. But let's be real, who really needs who here? If anything, it's Crawford, who could use Tank to boost his own fight. Tank doesn't need to fight on anybody's undercard as fights sell by themselves. Meanwhile, Crawford's history with pay-per-view numbers isn't exactly impressive. Outside his bout with Errol Spence, most of his PPV fights have flopped even against Canelo. There's a real risk that the fight won't be the massive event he's hoping
for. About that fight, is it even possible at a catch weight?
No, ain't no catch weight. You come up to 47.
You're not even entertaining a catch weight.
No, I'm not.
He's a champ though too, undefeated.
And what champ? Come on, man, tell me what belt. You know boxing. You forgot Devin Haney is undisputed. Devin Haney got all the belts. He the champ. Nobody else the champ. I'm gonna come up here where the big boys at.
But Crawford isn't just throwing shade at Tank's status, he's also questioning his pride. He said if Tank wasn't so cocky not to be on a Terrence Crawford undercard, that would be dope. In other words, he's implying that Tank's ego is stopping him from making a smart business move. But would Crawford ever fight on Tank's undercard? Of course not. That's why this whole thing sounds more like a distant, serious suggestion Crawford is testing Tank, seeing if he can get a reaction out of him. And let's be honest, he probably will. The tension between these two has been building for a while. Crawford has taken plenty of indirect shots at Tank before he's called Shakur Stevenson and Keshin Davis the best lightweights in boxing, completely ignoring Tank's accomplishments.
Tour asks, what's the potential matchup in boxing you would like to see next?
I would like to see Shakur versus Devin, or Shakur versus Tank. Ooh. Those are the 2 big fights that I would like to see next.
Tank Davis, Shakur Stevenson. Who wins that fight right now?
Shakur. Shakur.
Wow. He's acted like Tank isn't even in the conversation, but let's not forget this is the same Gervonta Davis, who has knocked out 28 of his 31 opponents, the same Tank, who has sold out arenas and broken pay-per-view records, the same Tank, who made Ryan Garcia quit with a body shot. However, according to Crawford, Lamont Roach is the only of 31 fighters to come close to beating Tank. Actually, Crawford, like many others, knows that Roach defeated Tank, and that's where a conclusion about this whole thing lies. That Tank is going to get a beating from Roach in a rematch. But why is Crawford acting like Tank needs to prove something? Maybe because deep down he knows Tank is a bigger star than he is. That's got a sting for a guy who considers himself one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world. Crawford might be undefeated, but he hasn't built the same kind of global fan base that Tank has, and now as he moves up to fight Canelo, he realizes he needs every ounce of star power he can get.
People want to discredit Tank. He's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. I had a night with Cruz. Everyone has a night. It's boxing.
The truth is Tank versus Shakur isn't happening anytime soon. It's not just about pride, it's about business. Shakur isn't a big draw, he's a talented fighter, but his style does excite casual fans. Tank has made it clear that if it's going to fight, someone has to be worth it. And let's be real, Shakur isn't bringing in massive pay-per-view numbers. On the other hand, a rematch with Ryan Garcia. Now, that is money if Tank is looking at his options. Why would he settle for a fight with Shakur when he could cash in against Ryan again?
What I've seen in the fight, I thought Lamont won. And I think the commission does need to do something with that knee. Because if they don't, then all of us are going to think we could take a knee anytime we want. You know, they got to do something about it. I mean, they did something about me. You got to do something about other people. You know, rules are rules, right? Right. It's, you know, I like Tank, though, personally. But a rule is a rule. You can't go and take a knee and then just expect that to be a knockdown. You know, you can't get away with it, stuff like that.
When you say 1 foot in boxing and 1
And let's not forget the bigger issue. Crawford and Tank don't even fight in the same division. Crawford is up at 168 for this fight, way beyond Tank's weight class. So why is he even talking about Tank? Because according to many, he knows Tank is the real star. He knows that by bringing up Tank's name, he's going to get attention. But it's a risky game. If he keeps poking at Tank, it's only a matter of time before Tank fires back. And if we know anything about Gervonta Davis, it's that he doesn't hold back.
Reverse the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right, to keep the integrity of the sport. So I feel like
Rolando Romero believes Gervonta Davis will make the necessary adjustments to win the rematch against Lamont Roach. Speaking to the ring, he explained that Roach shocked the boxing world with a performance and may have even surprised himself. However, Romero is convinced Davis will not allow that to happen again. He pointed out that Davis is a 3-division world champion and one of the greatest fighters of this generation. In his opinion, the rematch must happen because the first fight left many questions unanswered.
Going on, it was a hell of a fight. I just rewatched it. Just literally rewatched it. Seriously. Wow. Yeah, highway robbery is right. Highway robbery is right. Like, can't make this.
But some people aren't so sure that adjustments alone will be enough. There's a growing argument that Roach didn't just have a good night. He exposed flaws in Davis's game. Some observers feel that Davis's struggles weren't just about underestimating Roach, but a sign that he's not as dominant as many believed Roach showed. He could take Davis's power, walk him down, and force him into uncomfortable situations. If Davis's power wasn't enough to put Roach away the first time, why should be any? Different in the rematch, Ryan Garcia, too, is fully backing Davis. Speaking to ES News, he admitted that Davis likely thought the fight would be easier than it was. He believes Davis expected Roach to fold under pressure, and when that didn't happen, it threw him off. But Garcia expected a different version of Davis in the rematch, one that will be fully prepared for a tougher fight. In his view, Davis wins this time simply by taking Roach more seriously.
Is the fight a fight that should be on pay-per-view?
Hell no, bro. You like almost a 30-year-old prospect, dog. Fight the best. Fight Shakur. Oh, he tried to fight Lomachenko at the end. I already know what everybody.
Garcia has his own history with Davis, and some fans think his support is more personal than analytical. If Davis wins, it makes Garcia's loss to him look better. But if Roach pulls off another strong performance, it raises questions about how good Davis really is. That's why Garcia will be paying close attention, especially since a future rematch between him and Davis is still a possibility. However, Garcia is also focused on his own career. He's set to fight Rolando Romero at Times Square in May, and if he wins, a rematch with Devin Haney is also in the works, which could also lead to a Tank rematch.
Thing, but just couldn't be D1. He's a D2 player. And I'm showing love to Lamont and saying that he's a D2 player simply because he's not at the level that Tank is at.
But he's scoring the same amount of points at
But,
the D2 level.
but when you put them on the court in a one-on-one, say again?
Why can't he be mid-major? Why he got to be D2?
I want to make it significant. You know what I mean? Like,
Tim Bradley, on the other hand, isn't convinced Davis deserved the draw. After watching the fight again, he changed his scorecard. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Bradley first focused on the moment Davis took a knee. He didn't hold back in his criticism, calling it a clear knockdown. He pointed out that Davis got hit, took a knee, and then tried to claim something was in his eye. Bradley wasn't buying that excuse. He reminded everyone that fighters can take their own timeouts in boxing, and if Davis had an issue, it was up to the referee to intervene. Bradley also noted that if Davis's braids were bothering him, that was his own fault. He chose to wear them, and he had to deal with
the fact that Lamont Roach is as familiar with Tank Davis as he is. It goes beyond them fighting in the amateurs. They've spent time in camp together. He's been around Tank. He's seen Tank up close and personal, whether he's in the ring with them or not. That matters. When you know a guy's rhythm, when you know their speed, when you know what they're thinking, that changes everything, you know? Saying all this to say that because I know we got a lot of people, it don't matter when he get hit.
Bradley then explained that after re-watching the fight, he now sees it as a clear win for Roach. He scored either 7-5 or even 8-4 in Roach's favor. He made it clear that he wasn't trying to be disrespectful to Davis. He just felt that Roach outworked him. In Bradley's opinion, Davis wasn't active enough, and Roach controlled more of the fight than people originally gave him credit for.
I think in the rematch, I don't see it being, what'd you say, the rematch where he got knocked? Charlo against Harrison?
Yeah.
I don't see it being like that. I feel like Lamont Roach is going to start the pressure earlier, and he's still going to be...
Not everyone agrees with Bradley. Sean Porter, speaking on the Porterway podcast, defended the draw. He acknowledged that many people felt Roach won, but he urged them to rewatch the fight before jumping to conclusions. Porter pointed out that just because Davis wasn't in control the entire time doesn't mean he lost every close round. He originally scored the fight as a draw and still stands by that assessment.
That fight with Tank and Lamont Roach shows y'all how protected Tank has been for the past several years. And the people saying, oh, Tank know Lamont and he been respected Lamont because they fought in the amateurs, man, he was cherry picking Lamont. You know, and really...
Porter did, however, admit that Roach fought a fantastic fight. He said that if Roach had been awarded the victory, he wouldn't have argued, but he also made it clear that if Roach had lost outright, he would have had a problem with that decision, especially because of the knockdown moment. In his eyes, the knockdown was legitimate, and Davis was lucky it didn't affect the final score more than it did. What do you think? Share your take below, and subscribe for more updates.